Right. So in the transcending prelims, 7th standard geography, so that is titled as environment, our environment. So in that, the second lesson, so that is inside our earth. Okay, right. So usually when you are a small boy, when you are gazing the sky, okay, at the night time, okay, to look at the moon or to look at the stars, you may wonder how the stars are moving and how the moon is moving, okay, and somebody is hanging it from the above. Okay, you may have the thought, right? Okay, so in cinema songs also, no cinema is I mean no cinema songs in any language is left out the moon and the stars in any way. Okay, so stars and moons are always surrounding us. Even in Jadagam also, they are looking at the stars and moons to determine your life. Even in politics also. Okay, so not in India, but everywhere else. Okay, whenever a new star is coming, okay, whenever a new star is appeared, and the Rajyam, that is the politics may change, okay, over a period of time in all the nations and countries. Okay, so that is what, though you do not believe or you do have believe, I mean, do you believe or not, but it is influencing constantly. We are being influenced by the gravitational pull of the all the stars and planets. Okay, not necessarily you need to take up in a spiritual way, but on physical world, science also tells the gravity and the tidal force. So based on that, we are looking at. Okay, so don't think that these lights and fan and other our board, smart board, is working on the working in because of the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so we can enjoy the live football match and a cricket match through the satellites and all. Okay, we are having some devices as a mobile or tablet or computer to enjoy the movies and live events. Okay, remember, our body is already dealing with the electromagnetic spectrum. Do you agree? How? Naturally, we are seeing the light, we are enjoying the sceneries because of the light is entering into the eye, and the light has the capacity to perceive. The light has the, our eyes are having the capacity to perceive what is happening in and around us, right? So that is why our body is already been an instrument that is capable of catching the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, right. So environment. Deepest mine in the world is in South Africa. It is about 4 kilometers deep. In search for oil, engineers have dug a hole about 6 kilometers deep. Okay, to reach the center of the earth, which is not possible, you will have to dig hole 600 kilometers deep on the ocean floor. Sorry, 6,000. Okay, right, let it be. So deepest mine in the world is in South Africa. You come to know the fact. Okay, South Africa. And the most elevated continent is Africa. Okay, compared to the other continent with respect to the sea level, the African continent is elevated. Okay, so that is why majority of the plateaus are occurring in the African continent, and minerals deposits are there, and that is why the Africa is constantly being exploited, okay, by their own country, own national, own countries, government, and other Western government. Okay, Africa will experience the sea level rise only in the coastal margins, but it is a very meager way, not that of the Asia, because Asia is the most populated continent and is having many countries, and the many low-lying areas are occurring in the Asiatic continent, but not in the case of Africa. Okay, Asia has more smaller island as that of the North American continent, but not the African continent. Africa is having the major island. Okay, not you cannot find the even minor small island like Seychelles and all. Okay, for Africa. Okay, but naturally it occurred. Okay, so look at the earth. So this is the interior of it. Don't think it is like a mint. Okay, so a small candy. So while your school days or college days, you just take up some candy, just put into mouth and just chew it, and for some time. Okay, after if you take it, the color of the candy have changed, right? Have you experienced? Okay, So among the friends, we may exchange it. Okay, I have the green color, we have the red color. Okay, after some time we will be calculating the time to look at the color of the candy. Okay, right. So the same way, but it is not the candy. Okay, but it is, so I mean, you may look, it is a very handy, but it is not the candy. Okay, so for the universe it may be a very small candy. For the universe, entire universe, the size of the earth is very handy and candy. Okay, right, let it be. So here it is the slice of the earth, interior of the earth they have given, and 6,000 kilometer deep to reach the center of the earth. Center of the earth, not the opposite of the earth. So if you want to reach the opposites of the earth, you need to travel some 12,000 kilometer. So that is the diameter of the earth. Okay. See here, mantle, lithosphere, core mantle, boundary, outer core, inner core. These are all the boundaries, and you are asked to find out, or you are asked to, you may be asked to find out from core to top, core to crust. Okay, what are all the layers are present? Okay, between two layers. Okay, we have named the layers: Mohovic discontinuity. Okay, Gutenberg discontinuity. These are all the scientists who proposed the theory. Okay, so we have named them. We have named the boundaries as per the proposed person's name. Okay, basically. So the question will be like just make the discontinuity in a descending order or ascending order. That will be the format of the question. Okay, from top to bottom or bottom to top, whatever it is. Okay, and you are asked to look at the extent. Okay, the mantle is extended from how many kilometers to how many kilometers. What is the thickness of the each layer? Okay, descend the thickness of the each layer, or descend the arrange the layers based on the density. Okay, arrange the layer based on the height in which it is located. So in this way they may ask the question. Okay, obviously we can arrange it from crust to inner core with respect to the names, but with respect to density we need to by heart it. Okay, so in that way. Okay, right, let it be. So crust, it is all the thinnest of all layers. The crust is the 35 kilometer. 35 kilometer. Okay, remember. So whenever just you have read the 35 number, right? So somewhere else in geography you will be reading the number 35 in future. By the time, just try to recall, this is also the 35. Okay, right. So that is a way to understand. Okay. The continental masses only 5 kilometer on the ocean floors. Okay, 5 kilometers. And there was a question in geography whether the Mount Chimborazo is higher than the Himalayan mountains. I just tabled the question to you. Okay, so you tell me which is the very highest mountain, whether the Himalayas or other mountain. Himalayas are the highest or the Mount Chimborazo. Mount Chimborazo is in Ecuador. Mount Chimborazo is in Ecuador. Ecuador, you know where the Ecuador is, where it is located. It is located in South America. Okay, so since it is located in the equator, the Spanish name is Ecuador. So that is why it's got its name, right? Okay. See, already we have seen the earth is bulged at the equator. Okay. And moreover, the equatorial diameter is higher than the polar diameter. Okay, all polar circumference. Okay, the polar circumference is lesser than that of the equatorial circumference. So because there is a bulge in the equator. Okay, so and the India is located around. India is located here and the Himalaya is located here around 23 degree, 23 to 25 degree north in the Himalaya is located, and it is of some 8,850 kilometer around. I am just giving the very approximate height. Okay, so 8,000. Okay, so like 8,848 meters. So that is approximately 8.5 kilometer from the base. Okay, that is the height of the Himalaya. Okay, and in the Ecuador is located here, the Mount Chimborazo is located here, and it is not more than, I hope it is around some 5,000 or 5,000 meter or something. Okay, that's it. Not 8,000 as that of the Himalaya. Okay, but they have, UPSC has asked the question, which is higher from the center? You got my question? From the center of the earth, I mean, considering the center of the earth, which mountain is higher? This was the question. So which is higher? Mount Chimborazo is higher because of its equatorial presence. Okay, so this is not deliberately or explicitly given in the NCERT, but this is all, these are all the ideologies that you need to arrive at, having read all this NCERT concept and all. You got the point? Okay, so the Mariana Trench is deeper than that of the Himalayas. Mariana Trench is around 13 kilometers from the surface. Himalaya is 8 kilometers from the surface. Even if you just sink the entire Himalaya, even some of 5 kilometers will be left out. 11,000, sorry, I have given 13, so 11,000. Okay, right. So even the 3 kilometers will remain open, even if you sink the entire Everest into the Mariana Trench. Okay. You know what is Mariana? Marine means sea. Okay. So if it is belong to sea, it is called Mariana. If anything belong to the sea, we call it a Mariana. So that is why we have in Chennai the Marina Beach. Okay. Right. So that is why we have, I mean, I already told you that the stars and ocean are inseparable things for the mariners in old days. So that is why they entirely for their life, for their livelihood, they entirely depended upon the marine. Okay, they traveled through the ocean, having built the ship and all. So the stars are the points. Stars are the linking points through which they found out the direction. Okay, so that is why the Stella Mary. Stella means star, Mary means ocean. Okay, so majority of English speaking countries will be hosting the Stella Mary College, Stella Mary School and all. Okay, right, let it be. So you might be, I mean, our students, you all might have been from the Stella Mary College or Stella Mary School. Okay, across India. Okay, you can be proud of it. Okay, right, let it be. Okay, so here they have given the, the composition, constituent of the continental mass is silica and alumina. Okay, that is called silica and alumina. Okay, so these are the things can be asked. Okay, so what is the component of the crust? What is the component of the mantle? What is the component of the core? Okay, so this will be the questionable area. You just need to know and just locate the silica in the periodic table. Mentally. Okay, so and alumina. Okay, right. And the oceanic crust mainly consists of silica and magnesium. Not manganese. Okay, right. It is therefore called SIMA, the silica and the magnesium. Okay, so just to locate the magnesium periodic table. Okay, right. Silica must be here. Silicon is 14. Okay. Magnesium 12. Okay. So how you can easily remember things means, I mean, no need to alumina. Yes, here 30. Okay, remember, definitely. You might be, I mean, no need to remember all these elements from the periodic table. So whatever appears in the newspaper, we need to know first. Okay, and the basic things like hydrogen, nitrogen, okay, and fluorine, neon, argon, krypton, xenon. These are the gases. Okay, inert gases. Magnesium. Okay. See, the wonder. We can easily remember. Huh? Okay. Calcium. Okay. Just you can imagine. You can reflect your age with respect to the periodic table. You can easily remember. Okay. This year you may be some mercury, and next year you will be become thallium, and next year will become lead. If you are high, if your age is 82. Okay, so everybody can reflect your age here and you can enjoy. So every year, whenever you are into the birthday celebration, landing into the birthday celebration, just remember the periodic element names. Okay, definitely. I hope everyone should leave at the end of the periodic table. Okay, I hope and I wish. Okay, but based on your, 118. Organization is the last element. Okay, not Lord Ganeshan, it is organization. Okay, yes, okay, right. So you can reflect. Let me see mine first.
After we will write the happy birthday carbon.
Yes.
Eggs.
Yes.
That is yours, sir.
That is very secret. Okay, right.
Go for this 20 year too.
Okay. Nickel, copper, zinc, gallium, germanium, arsenic, selenium. Okay. 8, huh? Right. So the month of 8. So for every date you can collaborate with this periodic table. Okay, right. Let it be. So see, for atomic number 1 to 118, it is always increasing number of atomic number. So that will result in the increasing level of atomic weight. Okay, so based on that only the elements been deposited in the crust and mantle and all. Okay, right. Okay. So now continental crust and oceanic crust. So for roping the question of PYQ, that is Simbarasa mountain and Everest mountain question, I simply went into the deep. Okay. Moving next. Okay. See, the innermost layer core with the radius is about 3,500 kilometers. It is made up of nickel and iron and is called of knife. Okay, ferrous means iron. Okay, right. Okay. Nickel and iron, 3,500 kilometers. The central core has very high temperature and pressure. Okay, right. So, and they will be asking you the state of the each layer. The crust is in the solid state or mantle is in the semi-solid, or what about the outer core and what about the inner core. Okay, so inner core is in the solid state. Okay. Okay, so crust forms only the 1% of the volume of the earth. 84% is the mantle and 15% makes the core. Okay, so radius of the earth is 6371 kilometers. So these are the very fact, and you need to by heart at least. Okay, so 1% of crust, crust is forms only the 1%. So descending order, mantle, core and crust. That's the descending order. Okay, and whenever seeing this, almost we can say 5 times. The mantle is 5 times, almost 5 times is more than that of the core. Yes or no? The statement may be like this. So whenever a compound, a particular thing is compartmented and compounded into some percentage, you just come to know the relevant percentage with respect to the other one. For example, the core is 14 percentage. The mantle is 84%. So just correlate with the 15 with respect to 85, around 85. So the statement may be like this times how many, this many times it is greater than that, this many times lesser than that. So that will be the questionable format. Okay. So for that you must have read the numerical value of these things. Then only you can arrive at the answer. Okay, right. So radius of the earth is 6371 kilometer. So if your bike or car, you have traveled 6371 kilometers, so you can simply imagine and you can synchronize with this data. So you have entered deep into the earth. Okay, another 6371, you will be coming out of the earth. Okay, right. These are all the small, maybe looks mischievous. Okay, but it will keep you engaged towards UPSC, and it will make you enjoy in every moment when you are reading the UPSC with the Ncert. Okay, right. Okay, so the word origin igneous, Latin word ignis means fire. Okay, even in I already told you that the English and the Sanskrit, okay, having the common mother, same mother. So that is why the igni there we have agni. So both are representing the fire. Okay, right, let it be. So igneous, Latin word ignis means fire. Okay, sedimentary, Latin word sedimentum means meaning settle down. Sedimentum, settle down. Okay, you have the word sedation. What is it? Sedation means for example, if you are undergoing any abdomen surgery, you will be given the like chloroform, like, okay, so you will be sedated. Okay, you will be made painless. Okay, so then the surgery will be taken place. So that kind of activity is called sedation. So sed means settle down. Okay, both are having the same word origin. Okay, right, let it be. Why I am pulling all these things into the particular place means you will be remembering. Okay, right. Metamorphic, Greek word metamorphos means change of form. Always remember, meta means change, morpho means structure. Morphology means, for example, there is a water bottle there. If I want to study the water bottle, that is a morphology of the water bottle. The water bottle is cylindrical in shape and conical, slightly curvilinear. On the top there is a cap on it. Okay, then it's like a small concentric circles on the surface of the barrel. Okay, it looks like a small bullet and placed looking at the sky. So these were the description of the morphology of the water bottle. Okay, so morphology is the outer structure. Okay, right, let it be. Right, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. So here they have given the rocks and minerals. Remember, the sedimentary rock and the metamorphic rock. Okay, sedimentary rock and metamorphic rock and igneous rocks. Okay, these three type of rocks, and you may be asked, in later part of the syllabus, they have given the example for each type of rock. Okay, the UPSC will give some options for 2-3 options, 2-3 type of rock, and you will be asked to categorize it. Granite is belonging to which type of rock? Okay, so okay, igneous rock, like that.
Right.
No. I don't want to. Where it is?
No, sir, right. Zoom out, sir.
Wait.
Sir, I'm very switch up this one for weeks.
Okay.
Actually, pen and write it, click பண்ணீங்கன்னா
Okay, so intrusive and extrusive type of rocks. Okay, right. So when the molten magma cools, it becomes solid. rocks that formed called igneous rocks. They are called primary rocks. These are two types of igneous rocks, intrusive and extrusive rock. So both you can see it in the volcanic eruptions. So volcano which is having its abdomen called intrusive and which is split outside is called extrusive rocks. Okay. So right. Intrusive example they have given extrusive igneous rocks. They have very fine grained structure. Here the question. So already told you that this kind of adjectives can be used for asking the question. So which are the following extrusive igneous rock will be having the very fine grained structure. So that will be the question area. Okay, so it is not the very serrated grain. It's a very fine grained structure. Okay, example basalt. Okay, so Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rocks. Sometimes the molten magma. Okay, so for deep igneous rock, they have given the granite. So granite is an example of such intrusive rock. Okay, right. Okay, so Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt and extrusive. Okay, solid rocks and intrusive rocks. I mean, granite belong to the intrusive, basalt belong to the extrusive, which is very fine grained. Which one? Basalt. Basalt is very fine grained. So these are all the things, adjective things can be used for making the question. Okay. Okay, fossils here. The remains of the dead plants and animals trapped in the layers of the rocks are called fossils. The remains of the dead plant and animals. Okay, you would have seen the very fossilized. If have anybody having the fossilized thought? Fossilized thought. If you stick to one and you are not ready to change any opinion, then it is called that you have the very fossilized thought. You are not ready to change. That okay. So that means you have the fossilized thought. Okay. So as a UPSC aspirant, you need to engulf the very dynamism of the society always, and you need to adapt the contemporary changes, and you will be incorporating all these things into the policy making in the future. Okay, so don't have any fossilized thought. Okay, with respect to anything. Okay, everything is subjected to change. Okay, so change is the very nature of the universe. Okay, right, let it be. So granite, fossils. Okay, remains of the dead plant and animal, both are called fossils. Okay, right. Then sedimentary rock. So say these are all deposited by wind and water. Okay, so called sedimentary rocks. Sediment rock, for example, sandstone is made from the grains of sand. Okay, see, sand is different. If you pronounce the sand is different. Stone is different. Stone, sand. Okay, so here it is the sandstone. Okay, right, let it be. Okay, sometimes actually, what is rock and what is sand and what is stone?
Based on size, we can differ.
The stones can be lifted up, but rock can't lift up. Sand is very fine.
Actually, everything comes under the everything is rock only basically. If you are not able to lift it up with your hand, that is called rocks. If you are able to lift it, then it is called stone. Okay. So if the stone is cracked, okay, and made into the very fine material, that is called sand. Okay. So that is
Sand cake.
that is oil cake. Oil cake. That is sand cake. Okay. Right. Right. Let it be. So that is sandstone is made from the grains of the sand. These rocks may be contain fossils of the plant, animals and other microorganisms that once lived on them. Okay, remember? So the fossilization is the process by which the plant and animal are made into the fossils. Okay, remember you would have seen some stone trees in the museum.
Yes.
right? And the stones, very small stones representing the fish. I mean, they will be simply taking up one stone, and the museum staff will be showing that. So there you will be seeing the fish embossed, or simply the shape of the fish embedded into the stone. Have you seen that? So that I mean, below which the footnote will be represented as this is a fossil found in the Himalayas, like that. Okay, so that is why even in Himalayan region, Himalayas is a fold mountain, right? So there the aquatic fossils been found still. So that is why it is Himalaya once it was the Tethys, part of the Tethys. If you take up this Himalayan salt, nowadays it is becoming very blockbuster sales. Himalayan salt means, yes, it was the part of the ocean once. Now we are taking the salt from Thoothukudi and Gujarat region, salt pan, and through which the white salt are made, right? Okay. If at all you are taking the Himalayan salt, yes, it was once the part of the ocean also. That is also a ocean salt you are taking. Okay, right. Namak. Yes, yes. I mean, if you are taking a only one advantage is the white salt nowadays is occurring with the microplastics, but the Himalayan salt doesn't. Okay. Remember, if you happen to see any fossilized stone, means that will represent the fish or other lower creatures. Okay, it is not you cannot see any fossil of the human, because human being are the very latest animal. He is a very latest animal to the planet. Okay, right. Right, let it be. Sedimentary rocks, igneous metamorphic. Okay, that's it. Sediment rock turned into the metamorphic rock. So meta means you need to remember that metamorphic means it's a change in the structure. Okay, right. Sedimentary rocks. Here the clay changes into the slate and the limestone into marble. These are all the very typical questions. So which metamorphic rock is changing into the which type? Okay, so remember these things we need to keep in your mind. Okay, clay into slate and limestone into marble. Okay. Okay. Have you heard some marble floors and other, I mean, for pavement of the floors, whenever you are constructing a house, and people used to have such marbles. Okay. Yes, marbles and all. Okay, granite and marbles. Okay, some people will say, no, it is very cold. Somebody will say, it is very cold. Don't use that while constructing. And somebody will say, okay, no, it's very hot. It will create some diseases. If you paved your house of your floor of the house, it will create some diseases for your family. Like that, they will be simply okay. It's a very superstitious belief. Okay, one thing. And the second thing is scientifically speaking, these all things having the element. For example, and the granite is having the granules. The granite will be having some composition in it. Okay, maybe the silica or aluminum. So clubbed together, they are made into the granite or sandstone, whatever it is will be having the very micro component of the atomic element that we have seen in the periodic table. Okay, every element will be having some radioactivity. Okay, so which element is present a higher amount in the particular rock? Okay, so and the radiation that element it emits out of the material, that matters for any rock. Okay, so that will create the problem, that may create the problem for the human being. Okay, but not necessary in the right way, because the people nowadays is not even moving, try to move out of home. Everybody is confined within the home, and how and he is expecting the 100+ years of healthy life. How can it is possible? And he is attributing every disease blame to the sandstone and the granite. Because of this granite, I have this problem and that problem. It is not so. It is because of the very nature of the human being and the physical activity of the human being. Okay, let it be. Sediments. So come to know these things are important. Clay changes into slate and limestone into marble. Okay. Rocks are very useful to us. Yes, hard rocks are used for making the roads, houses and buildings. You use stones in many games. For example, 7 stones, Pitu, hopscotch, Sapu, Kit, sorry. 5 stones, Gitti. Find out some such games by asking your grandparents, parents and neighbors. Okay, right. So just to come to know, these are all the games. You can just search in YouTube. Search in YouTube how the game is look at it. Okay, and locate where the game is played. These are all the very cultural elements. These are all the very cultural elements. Okay, right. So never ignore anything present in the NCERT book. Okay. Okay. Red Fort is made up of red sandstone, and Taj Mahal is made up of made of white marble. Okay. So red sandstone and white marble. Taj Mahal, okay, and moreover, Delhi is okay. White marble is found at the Rajasthan, so nearly some 500 kilometers away from the. I mean, these stones are sourced from 500 kilometers away, and they are taken. They have taken by the elephants for the construction of Taj Mahal. It happened some 23 or 24 some years something. Okay, right. Actually, when the Taj Mahal was about to start up the construction, the British came in. So we can say British was looking at the Taj Mahal is under construction. Okay, right. But anyhow, it was very large. Otherwise, they have taken it. They have taken to their museum. Okay, this was very large basically. Okay, like a Kohinoor diamond. Yes, yes. Peacock throne also. So whatever it is very handy can be loaded and or accommodated into the ship, and they will be taking everything to the British Museum. Hmm?
They may get ideas from
Taj Mahal.
So first debate.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. People with the majestic mind will let the people as it is. Okay, they will not even pluck the flowers from the plant. Okay, let the flowers on the plant and they will enjoy, and they will be very finding the happiness just looking at the flower in the plant. Okay. The actually some animals are genetically defined in such a way that it will be taking everything and will be putting into the it will be taking everything and simply storing in their house, but it will not use it even. So like a rat, okay, that will be taking everything out of it and stealing everything and will be putting in here storing, and it will be under the underground. Okay, but it is a genetical makeup of the evolution. Okay, that we cannot blame it. Okay, right. Magma, igneous, metamorphic, sediment, sedimentary. Okay, rock cycle. Okay.
Sir, I have one doubt. If I see any rocks on Western Ghats or Eastern Ghats, will I take that as sedimentary rocks? If I see any rocks on Western Ghats or Eastern Ghats in India, will I consider that as sedimentary rocks?
Yeah, you can consider. Yes, because the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats are not the true mountains. They are the Ghats basically, and they are having the different origin than that of the fold mountains or block mountains. It is neither a block mountains or the fold mountains or volcanic mountain. It is basically the worn out part of the plateau. Actually, now you are looking at the Ooty, Kodaikanal and other Western Ghats hill stations and all. Okay, whenever you are at the foothill and looking at the Ghats, it looks very majestic and very royal. Okay, but what happened and what made the Western Ghats to get its shape as it is now? That means entire part of Tamil Nadu or entire part of Deccan Plateau is in the same height. It was once upon a time. Okay, and there was a continuous torrential rain happened. Okay, lakhs of years. And due to the torrential rain, which are the somewhat the part will be weaker, right? So in the rocks will be having some weaker sections at the joint of the rocks of each layers. So those are simply warned away and warned out, and simply the rivers formed, and the rivers made the entire plateau region, and it is simply down wrapped and simply made a slice over a period of time, and that is where we are at now, right now. Like, let it be the Hyderabad, let it be the Chennai, or let it be the Kanyakumari, Madurai, Trichy, and all. So these regions are in the plain regions because it was once at the height of Western Ghats right now. Okay, Western Ghats are having somewhat strong rocks and very sound, very strong joints. So that is not easily erodable in those times, despite the torrential rain for 3 lakh years. Okay, so we can say it is a remnant part of the Deccan Plateau. Which one? Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Okay, they are all the remnant part of the plateau, Deccan Plateaus. Okay, so that is why it is called Ghats. Okay, so why the Deccan Plateau region is having many rivers originated from the Western Ghats means, yes, still see, if you happen to see any river, Godavari, Narmada, Krishna, or Kaveri, Vaigai, these are all the rivers of Deccan. Okay, and if you look at these rivers nowadays, it will be wider. By looking at it, will be wider, but the water will be flowing in a very narrow stream. Have you noticed? The same way, once upon a time, the entire southern part of India was flooded like a river. Entire part is swept up by the rivers, I mean water. Okay, so slowly, because of the climate change, slowly it is narrowed down, and it is reaching the current existing state of the existing shape of the river. Okay, but it took many years, millions of years and thousands of years for taking up the shape. Okay, so in a human being life, we cannot know it. For the lifespan of 100 years, what will you know? Okay, so that too, even nowadays only we are getting documented. Nowadays digital era we are in, and after some 1,000 years or 10,000 years, if the human being exists on the earth, and they will come to know, if they are able to see these all YouTube videos and all. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, right.
For the 70,000 years. When does the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats come? After
Before that, even before emergence of Himalaya, the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats formed. Okay, so that is why we have the old rock, very old rock system in Deccan Plateau. Okay, Himalaya is very recent in origin. Okay, one thing. So that is why you would have studied. Okay, 1 minute. You would have studied in science, that is Neutrino Observatory Project, India-based Neutrino Observatory Project. We have undertaken in the Western Ghats, that too in the Theni district, that is Pottipuram area. Pottipuram is a place. Okay, and it belongs to the Theni district of Tamil Nadu, where because of the rocky nature, very archaic rock type of rock is present. Archaic means it's a very old rock. So that is very strong in their bonding. So that is why we have selected this region instead of selecting the Himalayan region. Government of India selected the Theni district. Okay, okay, because of old rock nature. Okay, so the Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats are comparatively older than that of the Himalayas. Okay, and if you happen to ride through the Himalayas, just stop the car and simply take, you can easily pick up the sand of the Himalayas. Simply, if you just knock the rock, and it will simply break Himalayas, but not in case of Western Ghats. If you break it, then you will be broken. Okay, don't try with the Western Ghats. Okay, right. Right. So we are continuing. Okay. Right. So the cycle. Okay. So what are the minerals found in your state? Collect the samples, show in your class. So wherever you belong to across India, okay, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, okay, wherever you are watching this class, okay, and just to find out the mineral resources of your domestic state, okay, wherever you are in India, okay, and these are all things which will be helping you to reach the final rank, okay. So in the interview you will be asked, okay, so depending upon age the questions will be varied, okay. So if you belong to Rajasthan, and they will be asking about the Kodarma, okay, where it is, and what type of mineral is extracted over there, do you know, okay, like that, okay. So it is very important to look at your own domestic state. So that's what the UPSC has assigned some task upon us, okay. What are the minerals found in your state, okay, right, that's it. So gold, petroleum are example of the minerals, okay. Innermost layer of the earth is crust, core. The rock which is made up of molten magma is known as the igneous rock. Rock which contain the fossils are called sedimentary rocks, okay. Thinnest layer of the earth is crust, that's it. So match the following. These are all very basic things, and you can see this kind of questions. This kind of small simple questions can be found in the RRB, SSC and all, but not in case of UPSC. UPSC is above this standard level, and they will be asking, okay, so they will be twisting with the small adjectives and all, okay, right, what I have thought earlier, okay, right. So with this I am concluding the lesson of 2 of general geography 7th class, okay, and I will be migrating to the next class, okay, in the next session, okay, right. Thank you all.